Okay. So that's on. Okay. The PNW writer made a comment on my last video, and he also put a link to another website that had the chart that he speaks of. PNW writer is really a good guy. He's been with my channel since like the first or second video. Love you, brother. And I got to paraphrase. I don't have it in front of me, but basically in his comment, he believes that, or he shows a chart that shows our inflation rate is at 1.7% per month, I believe. Looks very bad for the future of the economy. He believes he's concerned that we're looking at a massive economic collapse due to runaway inflation. And then he links to the chart. And then he also asked my opinion of, he thinks 2021 is going to be really bad, worse than 20. What's my opinion? Have I seen anything in what I do? Have I seen any indicators that point to a coming inflation or something along those lines? And honestly, I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I don't. I'm not saying I believe inflation is coming. Don't get me wrong, but I don't have any certain thing in around everything. I'm in California. Everything is expensive. There's no. It's all expensive. Everything's expensive here. So I don't have any one thing I can point to and say, okay, that's an economic indicator. It's looking rough. We might have 18 months or something like that. I don't have that. I just don't. I'm preparing as best I can with what little knowledge I have. I am preparing for massive inflation. My niece and her husband, I told you before, I complained when Trump gave them a check. They just got another check for $7,000. They were working the whole time, but their stimulus check they got was $7,000. I believe Ryder pointed out in the comment that we went from a $4 trillion deficit to $17 trillion. That's unimaginable. Inflation has to come. When? I don't know. Now, some people talk about deflation. That deflation happens first, after, whatever. I don't know how that works. If some of you guys understand that, hey, let me know what it is. Make a video. I'm hoping for some deflation because I have a little bit of savings I'd like to do something with other than to sit and watch it rot. This is the same position I was in 2008. I had sold a home several years prior, walked away with over $100,000, tax-free. It was no capital gain. And then Obama gets elected, and I started sweating it. I'm thinking, this guy's going to do something. The dollar's going to crash, and I'm sitting on all this paper. And so I put it back in real estate. Not the smart move at the time. I should have held on and waited a little longer because I could have paid cash because I ended up getting a mortgage and putting all the money into it. But I did buy a bunch of gold at that time. We talked about in previous videos, if you were sitting on a chunk of money, what would you put it in? That I still don't know. So I'm just trying to do little things. I don't have any debt other than a mortgage on the rental property. We're putting in an off-grid watering system, probably starting in about 2 weeks. I'm putting in a off-grid power supply, panels, batteries, to run all my reefers, power tools, that sort of thing. Because I don't use much power as an individual, but it was nice to be able to have some power if things get really nasty. I'm putting my focus back somewhat into my cattle. I talked about this previously as far as being able to process meat, even if it's just for keeping myself fed. Chicken, beef, and sheep. But other than that, I don't know. I don't see any one thing out there. It all looks bad to me. Everything points to inflation. Although there's one very weird angle, and I have nothing to back this up. No science, no data, no whatever. But California's a sanctuary state. All are welcome. We'll pay for it all, don't worry. And many are coming here all the time. It's crowded. There's building homes everywhere all the time. But I think because our population is so massive, it's almost a given that there's going to be some sort of economy. As far as a parallel economy, black market and all that, we have a huge Hispanic population, a huge Mexican from Mexico population. These people are the parallel economy. They are the black economy. And if massive inflation hit here, I don't think it's going to affect them at all. And so I think there's some stability in that a large portion of your people are used to a third world environment, and they'll function just fine, as I will, I believe. But I think a lot of people, if you're living high and mighty and you got the big house and the Jaguar, all that, it's going to be rough for you. But I think because we have those people here, the dollar could crash, and the people on the far end of town where it's all nice and fancy, the digital world, they're going to have a tough time. The people on my side of the world where it's mostly Hispanic, mostly illegal, they just trade with other stuff. I mean, I think that's an advantage. I said I have no way to back that up. And yes, they're a drain on the system. They're a drain on the economy in that respect because they have social services and all this kind of stuff. But they spend their money. They're willing to work, trade goods for services, this and that. I think I think there's some benefit to that. But anyway, Ryder asked a question. Maybe some of you guys can answer it. I've seen nothing that I can point to because I travel in a very small circle. Work, home, or cattle, work, feed store, groceries, cattle, work, this kind of thing. So, and the price of hay has always been volatile. I can't really point that to inflation because it could be something else. But I'm sure, I think inflation's coming. I can't believe you put it off this long. 14 to 17 trillion in a very short amount of time. I mean, if a meteor landed on this planet tomorrow the size of Oklahoma and it was solid gold, yeah, I think that would affect the price of gold. Anyhow, you guys want to make a video or throw something out there? I'm curious too. Do we have any indicators that are pointing to, yep, this is inflation, besides the fact that we've printed so many dollars? I'd be anxious to know. And also, once again, I'd be anxious to know what you guys are doing, because I've been thinking about this for 6 months. What to do with my savings. I mean, I look at Bitcoin, but I don't know anything about that stuff. Looks like it might be in a bubble. I really don't want to do gold again. I thought it was manipulated, but I was in a different story. Love you. God bless.